102.7 FM, the pride of the people.
Yes, a beautiful Friday morning to you listeners out there, and welcome to In the Papers, the segment where we take a look at major news making headlines across today's newspapers, from politics and the economy to social issues and development around the country and beyond. We bring you concise and roundup of what the front page are reporting and conversations they are shaping. Stay with us as we go through the top stories, highlights from the papers this morning. I am Inioluwa Adekoya, and with me this morning I've got the Old newspaper, the Punch newspaper, the Daily Post newspaper, and the Nation newspaper. We will take a short break. When we get back, we'll give you a look of the headlines making rounds in the papers this morning. Yes, welcome back. Like I said earlier, the program you're on to is In the Papers on iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of the list of our headlines this morning from the Home newspaper. Talking eligibility uproar. No Guba race yet in Ondo. Ayedatiwa cautions agitators. We are still talking headlines on the Oak newspaper. More relief as NEL Fund extends students' loan application deadline. Still on the Oak newspaper, 2 men are drowned in a Idori well while retrieving phone. Yes, and now to the Daily Post newspaper. Police promote 13 CPs, 17 DCPs, others. Yes, still on the Daily Post newspaper. Electoral Act amendment on certificate forgery troubling, says Angalapu. Yes, still on the Daily Post newspaper. Lagos youths protest nationwide power outage. Yes, still on the Daily Post newspaper. I didn't want to throw Nigeria into turmoil. Tinubu on why he signed the Electoral Act. Yes, and still talking headlines this morning from the Punch newspaper. Comedian brother Shaggy hospitalized after alleged shooting. Yes, and this is still on the Punch newspaper. Talking Disu Egbetokun. I never dreamed on becoming IG. Yes, still on the Punch newspaper, talking headlines. States demand forensic audit for $8.8 billion crude for loan deals. Yes, still talking headlines on the Punch newspaper. Army falls ambush in Cross River, kills 4 gunmen. And now I take a flight to the Nation newspaper. ADC replaces PDP as dominant opposition party. Still on the Nation newspaper, Jam the Sun leads city varsity admission for law students. And finally, on the headlines this morning, court grants ICPC leave to examine electronic device they recovered from El Rufai's house. Yes, and with that, we'll take another short break. When we get back, we'll give you more news making headlines in the papers this morning. Yes, yes, welcome back, welcome back. Like we said earlier, the program you're onto is in the papers on your darling station, iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of the list of our stories this morning from the Oak newspaper, eligibility uproar. No Guba raise yet in Ondo. Ayedatiwa cautions agitators. And now to the details. The governor of Ondo State, Dr. Lucky Orimison Ayedatiwa, has described some actions to the judgment of the federal court barring him from contesting the next governorship election as an unnecessary distraction, noting that he will not be on the ballot any moment soon. Speaking during a live interview on Channels Television while reacting to the court's decision, the governor said the public had been misled by various narratives circulating on social media, stressing that he had not at any time indicated an intention to run in another election. According to him, there is currently no timetable for any governorship election in the state, and he has taken no steps suggesting such an ambition. He said, and I quote, "I would like to start with just clarifying a bit of sanity as regards this matter. Let me establish some truth so that the general public can have a better understanding of what has been and what is now. A lot has been said on social media and there is a lot of misconceptions and opinions trying to distort the truth. But the truth is that I have never at any time declared to anybody that I am going to contest an election. I have said this about a year ago. It is not time for any governorship election in the state. There is no timetable. There is no sign of any election, and I have not expressed interest at any time that I am going to run for office of the governor again because it is not yet time." The governor further clarified that he did not approach the court to seek eligibility to contest any election, explaining that the case was initiated by other individuals seeking clarification on his eligibility. Aiyedatiwa maintained that legal matters would not distract him from focusing on governance and delivering on the promises he made to the people of Ondo State. He said he remained committed to fulfilling the mandate given to him. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline "No Guba raised yet in Ondo, Aiyedatiwa cautions agitators." Yes, still on the Oak newspaper, two men drown in Idori well while retrieving phone. And now to the details. Strategy struck in Omifon community in Idori local government area of Ondo State as two men reportedly lost their lives after entering a deep well in an attempt to retrieve a mobile phone. The incident threw the Idori community into mourning after a 46-year-old man, Kayode Oluwakinse, popularly known as Super, died while trying to rescue another man who had earlier entered the well to recover his phone. Recent reports gathered that the first victim, simply identified as Chinedu, had gone into the well to retrieve his mobile phone that accidentally fell in. However, while attempting to climb out after recovering the phone, he reportedly fell back into the well and died. The wife of the second victim explained that Oluwakinse was inside their home with his family when he had a loud commotion outside. She said, "We were all inside in the house eating with our two children when we heard a loud voice outside. My husband went out to check what was happening." She explained that on getting to the scene, Oluwakinse was informed that their family friend, Chinedu, had entered the well to retrieve his phone but could not come out alive. She added, "After hearing this, my husband quickly removed his clothes and slippers and decided to rescue him. He went into the well with a ladder and rings that were inside the well, but unfortunately he could not come out alive." It was further gathered that a third man who attempted to rescue Oluwakinse also descended into the well but lost consciousness halfway, despite having a rope tied around his waist for safety. The second victim explained, "The third man who went inside the well to rescue my husband lost consciousness in the middle of the well while descending." Eyewitness accounts stated that onlookers quickly pulled the man back up before he could reach the bottom of the well. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the newspaper with the headline, "Two men drown in Idonri well while retrieving phone." Yes, still on the newspaper, more relief as no fund extends students' loan application deadline. And now to the details. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund has granted another extension for students' loan application portal to accommodate institutions that requested additional time for the 2025-2026 academic session. The announcement was made recently in a statement signed by NELFund Director of Strategic Communications, or Inioluwa Adekoya. According to him, the extension applies only to institutions that submitted formal requests, allowing eligible students extra time to complete their applications. The statement reads, and I quote, "The Nigerian Education Loan Fund has approved an extension of the students' loan application portal for institutions that have formally requested additional time for the 2025-26 academic session." Speaking on the development, NELFund Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Akintunde Sawyer reiterated the fund's commitment to ensuring the eligible students and participating institutions can access the students' loan program. He said, and I quote, "NELFund remains committed to ensuring the eligible students across participating institutions have the opportunity to access the students' loan program. The fund is urging students in affected institutions to take advantage of the extension and submit their application through the official portal." If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Oak newspaper with the headline, "More relief as NELFund extends students' loan application deadline." so now I take a flight to the Daily Post newspaper. Police promote 13 CPs, 17 DCPs, others. And now to the details. The Police Service Commission (PSC) has approved the promotion of 13 Commissioner of Police (CPS) to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police (AIGs). This allowed their successful performance in the recently concluded written examinations and oral interviews held at the Commission corporate headquarters in Abuja. Toti Unjoku Kalu, Head Protocol and Public Affairs Police Service Commission, in a statement said the list of successful officers have been formally conveyed to the Inspector General of Police for immediate implementation. The newly promoted AIGs are Emmanuel Ado Christopher, former CP, Yobe State; Joseph Aribo, former CP, Ekiti State; Danta Waye Mila, former CP, FCT; Uche Ifeanyi Henry, PhD, Director, MPF, National Cyber Crime Center; Olarinwaju Peter Ogunlowo, former CP, Ogun State; Mohammed Dahiru, former CP, Jigawa State, among others. Additionally, 19 Assistant Commissioners of Police (ACP) were elevated to Deputy Commissioner of Police (DCP), including notable officers such as Wilwan Shaibu, PTS, Nekeda IMS; Grace Obiageli Ejiofor, AC Disaster Management, FHQ Abuja; Ibrahim Ada Yusuf, AC Idu Railway Abuja; Muazu Imaru Dange A Court T Wada Kano; and Samuel Ebikebina Dembekeme Du Ako Bayelsa State Command, among others. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline: Police promote 13 CPs, 17 DCPs, others. Yes, still on the Daily Post newspaper, Electoral Act Amendment and Certificate Forgery troubling, says Angalapu. And now to the details. A research analyst with the Center for Democracy and Development, Dengiyefa Angalapu, has warned that the decision to remove certificate forgery as a ground for filing election petitions in the amended Electoral Act 2026 could weaken accountability in Nigerian electoral system. Section 138 of the Electoral Act 2026 states the condition under which an election can be contested, but certificate forgery is no longer listed as one of the grounds. Angalapu faulted the development in an exclusive interview with Newsman. According to him, the change is troubling because the credibility of elections should not only depend on how voters are cast, but also on the integrity of the candidates contesting for public office. He said, and I quote, "I see this amendment is troubling because the credibility of election is not only about how votes are cast, but also about the integrity of the candidate contesting." According to him, allegation of certificate forgery directly raised questions about a candidate's honesty and eligibility to hold public office. Certificate forgery goes directly to the issue of honesty and eligibility for public office. He stated, if that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline: Electoral Act Amendment on Certificate Forgery troubling, says Angalapu. Yes, still on the Daily Post newspaper, Lagos youths protest nationwide power outage. And now to the details. Youths have taken to the streets of Lagos to protest the presidential lack of electricity supply in parts of the state. The protesters, mostly young residents of the affected communities, marched through major roads, carrying placards and chanting slogans to express their frustration over the prolonged power outage. During the protest, the demonstrators repeatedly chanted, "Give us light, we are not asking for too much," while calling on the Lagos state government to address the situation urgently. The youth said the continued lack of electricity has severely disrupted their daily activities and negatively affected small businesses that depend on stable power supply. They therefore urge the authorities to take immediate steps to restore stable electricity in their community. As of the time of filing this report, no official statement had been issued by the authorities regarding the protest. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline Lagos Youths Protest Nationwide Power Outage. Yes, still on the Daily Post newspaper, I didn't want to throw Nigerians into turmoil. Tinubu on why he signed the Electoral Act. And now to the details. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said he had no choice but to sign the Electoral Act, explaining that the bill was passed with overwhelming support by the National Assembly of Nigeria. According to Tinubu, he chose to respect the rule of law rather than plunge the country into political turmoil. He made these remarks while addressing the All Progressive Congress APC leaders and Inter-Party Advisory Council IPAC on Wednesday at the State House, Abuja, where he reflected on challenges of governance and the nature of politics in a democratic system. Speaking on the Electoral Act, the president said he chose to respect the decision of the National Assembly of Nigeria, which passed the legislation with overwhelming support. He said, and I quote, I had no choice. I did not want to throw the country into turmoil of argument. There was an overwhelming majority in the National Assembly that passed the law. If I had serious questions or reservations, I would have raised them. But I submitted myself to principle of rule of law and democracy. I signed, and the rest is history. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline I didn't want to throw Nigeria into turmoil. Tinubu on why he signed the Electoral Act. Yes, so now I take a flight to the Punch newspaper. Comedian brother Shaggy hospitalized after alleged shooting. And now to the details. Popular comedian, skit maker, and social media influencer Samuel Perry, popularly known as brother Shaggy, has been hospitalized after he was allegedly shot in the Songo Ota area of Ogun State. It was gathered that the incident occurred under the Songwater Bridge on Sunday afternoon. Although the circumstances around the shooting remain unclear, a police source who spoke on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to comment on the matter said the content creator sustained the gunshot injury while filming a comedy skit at the location. According to the source, Brother Shaggy was immediately rushed to the Blooming Care Hospital in the Alakulko area of Lagos State where he received initial treatment. The source stated, and I quote, he was shooting a skit under the Songwater Bridge where he sustained a gunshot injury. We don't have the details of how it happened, but his crew members who were present quickly rushed him to the hospital. The sources added that the medical personnel at the hospital administered first aid upon his arrival. Further findings by newsmen, however, revealed that he was later referred to Dutchess Hospital in the government residential area, Ikeja, where he is currently recuperating. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline Comedian brother Shaggy hospitalized after alleged shooting. Yes, still on the Punch newspaper, Disu Egbetokun, I never dreamed of becoming IG. And now to the details. The Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Diso, has paid glowing tribute to his predecessor, Kayode Egbetokun, recalling their early professional relationship while serving under President Bola Tinubu during his tenure as Governor of Lagos State. Disu spoke at a polling out ceremony held in honor of Egbetokun at the force headquarters in Abuja, marking the retirement of the former police chief after decades of serving in the Nigerian police force. In his remark, Desu described Egbetekun's career as one marked with dedication, professionalism, and strong leadership, noting that the defining chapter in the former IG's career was his service as Chief Security Officer to the Lagos State Governor at a time when Tinubu was in office. He said it was during the period that their professional paths first intersected. He said, and I quote, a defining chapter in his professional life was his service in Lagos State Government House, where he served as Chief Security Officer of the Governor of Lagos State at the time when His Excellency Senator Bola Tinubu, now President of the Republic of Nigeria, was Governor. It was during the period our professional paths were intersected in the most memorable way. While IGP Egbetokun retired, served as Chief Security Officer to the Governor, I had the honor of serving as aide-de-camp to the same governor. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, Disu Egbetokun, I never dreamed of becoming IG. Yes, still on the Punch newspaper, states demand forensic audit of $8.8 billion crude for loan deals. And now to the details. State governments have called for a forensic audit of Nigerian crude oil backed borrowing arrangement, warning that opaque crude for loan and swap deals may be undermining inflows into the Federation account. Recent reports that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited pledged 272,500 barrels per day of crude oil through the series of crude for loan deals totaling $8.86 billion, according to an analysis of a report by the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative and the NNPC financial statement. According to recent findings, NNPC has already fully repaid $2.61 billion in loan, representing 29.4% of the total credit facility, while $6.25 billion or 70.6% remains outstanding. Also, out of $8.86 billion of credit facility, only about $6.97 billion has been received from the 7 crude for loan deal as of December 2023. However, state government, through the Commission of Finance, are demanding an audit of these deals. The demand was contained in a communique issued at the end of 2026 retreat of the Federation Account Allocation Committee Post-Mortem Subcommittee obtained by Newsman, which stated that all crude oil-backed borrowing arrangements should be subjected to legislative approval, full disclosure, and independent audit. Existing arrangements should be reviewed with forensic audits conducted to restore confidence and protect future Federation revenues. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, State demands forensic audit of $8.8 billion crude for loan agreement. Still on the Punch newspaper, amid fall ambush in Cross River kills four gunmen. And now to the details. Troops of the 13th Brigade of the Nigerian Army have foiled an ambush by suspected criminals while responding to a communal dispute in Odonget community or Bubra local government area of Cross River State. The Army disclosed this in a statement recently signed by the Major Assistant Director, Army Public Relations Headquarters 13th Brigade Nigerian Army, Lieutenant Yemi Shokoya. According to statements, the incident occurred on the 12th of March 2026 after troops deployed at Ocho and Aleshi received credible information about rising tensions linked to a communal disagreement in Odonget community. Shokoya said the troops acted swiftly to prevent a breakdown of law and order by mobilizing the community where they carried out patrol and show of force and helped to calm the situation and restore normalcy between the concerned parties. However, while returning to the respective locations after stabilizing the area, the soldiers discovered that their route had been deliberately blocked by unidentified person. He said the statement reads, and I quote, during efforts to clear the obstructions, the soldiers came under the coordinated ambush by unknown gunmen, leading to fierce exchange of fire. He added that following the contact reports from troops on the ground, reinforcement from 245 Battalion were immediately deployed with armored and tactical support vehicles to counter the attack. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, Army Falls Ambush in Cross River Kills 4 Gunmen. Yes, the program you're still onto is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. The time has come for you to call in for 102 to add 102 cents to the program, and the number to call is 0816 552 for your comments and contributions to any of the stories and headlines read out to you in the papers. The number to call is 0816 552 4699. Yes, like I said earlier, the program you're on to is in the papers coming to you from no other station but iPower 102.7 FM. And the number to call for comments and contributions to any of the stories or headlines read out to your listening pleasure is 0816 552 4699. 0816 552 4699. And now to the Nation newspaper, ADC replaces PDP as dominant opposition party. And now to the details. A gale of defection yesterday. It's the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the Labour Party, LP, and the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, in the National Assembly. 9 senators dumped the PDP for the African Democratic Congress, citing the protracted leadership crisis that has polarized the platform. The defection has catapulted the ADC as the most dominant opposition party in the Senate. ADC now has 9 senators, PDP down to 6, APGA 1, Accord 1, NNPP 1, NNDC 1, SDP 0, LP 0, with 3 seats vacant. ADC has an overwhelming majority of the 7 senators. The defectors whose letter of defection were read by Senate President Godswill Akpabio During plenary, Aminu Waziri Tambuwa, PDP Sokoto South, Biners Dauda Yaure, PDP Adamawa South, Lawal Adamu Usman, PDP Kaduna Central, Muhammad Ogoshi Onawo, PDP Nasiro South, and Augustine Akobundu, PDP Abia Central. There was a mild drama over the defections of LP Senator Victor Ume, Anambra Central, Tony Nwoye, Anambra North, and Ireti King Ibe, FCT, to the ADC, which sparked a constitutional debate between senators. And senators said there is no more division in the LP. Also, APGA senators Enyinaya Abaribe, Abia South, left it for the ADC. Senator Seriak Dixon Bayelsa moved from PDP to the Nigerian Democratic Congress, and Deputy Minority Leader Lere Oyewumi Oshun West moved to the Accord Party. The biggest issue yesterday was Abaribe's defection. Akpabio will try to douse the tension, said the Senate would examine the letters carefully to determine whether the constitutional requirements had been met. The Senate President said, and I quote, "You notice that I have read letters for the three different political parties, so you cannot accuse the ruling party of tampering with the leadership, because here I have APGA, Labour Party, and PDP. All of them appear to have internal problems. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Nation newspaper with the headline, ADC replaces PDP as dominant opposition party." Yes, and still on the Nation newspaper, JAM discerned Lit CT varsity admission for law students. And now to the details. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has discerned the admission being conducted by Lit CT University in Ibadan, your state, into its law program in the face of subsistent 5-year ban placed on the university. Besides, the board stated that the admission were not conducted through the Central Admission Processing System (CAPS), the only platform approved for processing admission into tertiary institutions across Nigeria. In a statement by its public communication advisor, Fabian Benjamin, JAMB said such admissions were therefore void, as they were unknown to it. The statement said the institution is not authorized to admit candidates into the program until the expiration of the suspension. This sad development once again underscores the importance of adhering to the board's repeated and unequivocal advice to candidates not to accept any offer of admission outside CAPs, as admission that is not processed and approved on CAPs is fake. Candidates admitted through such irregular means have not legitimate claim, as they are considered complicit. For the umpteenth time, the board strongly advises prospective candidates in their own interest not to accept any admissions not processed through CAPs, as the board will neither recognize nor condone such admission. Candidates who have been offered admission outside CAPs are therefore advised to disregard such offers and commence the process of obtaining the next UTME application in order to sit for examination and pursue legitimate admission through the appropriate channels. Any admission ordered outside CAPs is nothing more than an exercise of futility. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Nation newspaper with the headline, JAM disowns late CT varsity admission for law students. Yes, still on the Nation newspaper, talking anti-terrorism war. Tinubu beefs up military equipment. And now to the details. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the acquisition of additional military equipment to strengthen ongoing operations against terrorists and bandits. Minister of Defense General Christopher Musa retired confirmed this recently after the security meeting between President and security chiefs at the State House, Abuja. At the meeting were National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, Chief of Defense Staff General Olufemi Oluyede, Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Waidu Shaibu, Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Idris Abbas, and Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sunday Kevin and Nikki. Other present were Chief of Defense Intelligence Lieutenant General Emmanuel Undeinde, Director General of the Department of State Service Oluwatosin Ajayi, Director General of the National Intelligence Agency Mohammed, and Inspector General of Police Tunji Disu. If that story aligned with your interest, it is on the Nation newspaper with the headline Anti-Terrorism War, Tinubu beefs up military equipment. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back. Like I said earlier, the program you're on to is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. You can reach out to us for comments and contributions on 0816 552 4699. 0816 552 4699. Right now, we'll take a short break. When we get back, we'll have our in-house political analyst to put 1 or 2 cents in what is making rounds in the newspapers this morning. Yes, welcome back. As you know, the program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. And of course, I told you earlier that we would have our in-house political analysts add 1 or 2 cents on the topics making round in the papers this morning. A beautiful morning to you, Akin Adebayo.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on the program.
Yes, thank you for always showing up anytime we call. Yes, moving on to first of all, we've got this on the old newspaper. There's been a lot of uproar on Ayedati was re-election, and now Ayedati has come out to say that he already knows that he did not even plan to contest in the first place. That most people that are making noise about it should keep their mouth shut at a particular point in time. That he already knew what was coming to him. That he didn't even go to the court to ascertain the fact that he wants to contest for the next election. He went for something else. And other people, there were some other people were the ones who had to confirm that who had to file a suit and all, and this and that and that. What do you have to say to this?
Thank you very, very much. Lucky that you has actually said, should I say, he has made his position known on the matter. I think it all started last year, July, when a particular person, Dr. Igualo, was actually instituted legal action against Dr. Aida Tiwa's eligibility to run again for second term or third term, as the case may be. You understand? Now, but of course, to a large extent, Aida Tiwa was not even represented at the court. But of course, the question is this: that guy just woken up one day and think of instituting a legal action against the governor just like that? Well, I would want to come to the conclusion probably that it's a kind of politicking or politicking, as the case may be. But well, as the case may be, it was on Monday when a court of appeal in Akure actually gave a judgment that, of course, because immediately that action was instituted in Federal High Court, there was an appeal against it. There was an appeal against the Court of Appeal that they should know that the other case should not be heard. The question now is who instituted the appeal against a case against the eligibility of the governor to contest in the 2028 governorship election? Now, someone actually instituted it at the appeal. He appealed that the case should not be heard. But the appeal court now said that it is a constitutional matter that for no reason should the Court of Appeal now stop the Federal High Court to hear this something. So it should be heard. And I think that was why it was now a fine was now imposed on the governor that must pay $2 million fine, while the case should be heard at the Court of Federal High Court. And yesterday, the government was actually dispensed, and the court made it expressly clear that the eligibility to contest, that of course, for the particular section 138 or section 3 or thereabout, said, of course, that a president or a governor, as the case may be, that the deputy succeeded after spending the remaining term of their predecessor can only contest once. That is one. Secondly, that cannot be sworn in 3 times. You cannot take the oath of office 3 times. Now, those 2 sections are very much okay, as the case may be. But where my own concern comes in is this. There is a provision that you can contest for a particular office twice, particularly the executive and Mr. Maham, 2 tenure of 8 years. Now, as we all know, look at that you have completed the tenure of his predecessor, the person of Akeredolu. Now he has completed again for the second time. Now we now have to add the 4 years that he's spending now. With the previous year he had only spent maybe a year plus, as case may be. Now add it now to another 4 years. It's becoming about 9 years. The question is this: you can only contest, you can only administer a state or the federation, as the case may be, for 8 years, not above. You can equally administer less, but you cannot administer above. I mean, these are the things. So it's strictly a constitutional matter. But thank God, the governor has come out to say that they are just distracting him. And it is now high time that the governor himself needs to call anybody that is appealing any case of order to order. Enough of being distracted, because indeed he's been distracted. And for him to have come out and say that, and of course, it's very sincerity on his own part, to the best of my own knowledge, he was not represented in any of the cases. The reason means that he's just not interested in it. But of course, 2020 is around the corner. But of course, this issue of politicking and politicking is really unsettling the state. It's really affecting governance. So the governor at the point in time should not just be distracted. It should rather focus on governance. And not, it's so unfortunate in this country that the very minute someone is being sworn in, the next thing people start thinking about is on the election after 4 years. They don't even think about governance. Look at what I met Tinubu. Even for this issue of America categorizing Nigeria as a particular concern. They started politicking about Tinubu's re-election as in 2024 or thereabout. And he's still yet to even settle the governance. So I think it is high time politicians in particular. Look at, a woman was being screened in Rivers State Assembly for commissionership position. And she was asked, where is your tax, what's it called? This tax, I've forgotten. Identification, yeah, no, not identification, I've forgotten it. She ought to show that she has been paying her tax. Because one thing is this: before you can occupy political office, you must have a proof of your payment of tax. Do you know what the man said? She said, I'm a politician, I don't pay tax. The speaker was like, that's the person of the no. So you mean all this that you've been working, you've not been paying tax, even if you are doing business, so you have not paying tax, and you want to occupy political office. So which simply means, as a politician, you don't pay tax. It could be as bad as that. So enough of this politician distracting, the governor or the president, as the case may be. Let them focus on governance. And focus on governance. Politics is not a job. It's not be a part-time, it will be part-time. But unfortunately, because of the benefit that is inherent in you occupying a political office, some people are now turned into a job. You see some people filling their form saying that I'm a politician. Is a politician a job? Is he a job? Partialize back to the court now. two-time governor, two-time minister, is back to the court now. So it's high time these politicians stop all this shenanigan and let them, that you allow anybody that's occupying political office to face governance, and not all the time we are politicking and politricking. For the governor to have come out to say that he is not even getting prepared for any election or thereabout in 2028, I think it's a very good one. And I think by now, those people that actually champion the cause of him contesting should now go to rest. But I can assure you that they will never go to rest. So that is where the issue of Yoruba goes thus. Kiniko Tonjo, Onilu Embele Alabi, who is beating the drum for these people to continue pursuing this case? So that is 1 million question that we are yet to hear. Ebualorun just have brought up such issue. If it was not being instructed, and the case may be. So who instructed him now is now left for those people that they know themselves, now them. You understand? These are the things. So that just makes sufficient about the whole thing. But it's good. The governor has come out to say that they should stop distracting him. That is not saying anything about governorship content 28. That what is particularly about now is governance. It's a very good one, and I commend him for him to come up on here to say that. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Akin. Yes, still talking politics. Moving on. Well, we've got this from the ADC. The headline says ADC replaces PDP as dominant opposition parties. Now, news making rounds is that 9 senators have dumped the PDP for the African Democratic Congress. Now, does it not look like the PDP's 2027 ambitions, it is looking very dim? Or what do you have to say about this?
Of course, we don't need to start the discussion. There's one thing.
Yeah.
Lately, I just don't like discussing the issue of PDP. Because ideally, they shouldn't have gotten to this level if they've taken the right action at the right time. But unfortunately, they just allowed Wike, I will deliberately mention his name. Exactly. They just allowed Wike to have the judge right. Fine, Atiku messed up by not stepping down for a certain man to contest them. Equally messed up by not picking Wike as his running mate. I don't think Atiku even know what it means to be a president. How could the president be so scared of his deputy, of his vice? That was what actually happened. You understand? Because if Wike, for instance, had been with Atiku as his running mate, I can assure you, people probably would have won that election. Because if you look at the margin, you understand. But be that as it may, since that didn't happen, I think PDP should have taken the bull by the horn a long time ago. Now everything is drowning now. And they might call you advice at a particular time. Change the name of this party. They insisted. It's the strongest opposition party. But look at what is happening now. Everybody has now jumped ship to APC and to ADC. You understand? So that is just so, to me, you see, carpet crossing is allowed. You understand? It's allowed, particularly at the legislative arm of the government. But my question now begins to arise at the area of the executive. You understand? But these people that are at the campaign now, I think they are the senators and House of Reps. So it is allowed. Particularly when you discover now that it's actually enshrined in the Electoral Act. That when there is a crisis at the national level, and PDP now, our crisis at the national level, state level, local level, world level, every level they're having problems. You understand? So I think for people to be jumping ship from PDP to APC or ADC, the case may be, I think it's a very good one. All we just need is a formidable opposition. Look, no matter how good you think you are doing the bidding of the people, people are actually enjoying your government, you still need an opposition to keep you on your toes.
Check and balances.
Yeah, thank you very much for check and balances. Because the very minute you now become a one-party system, who is to check you? So you begin to do things the way you like. So I actually key into the idea of people decamping to a more formidable opposition party. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for that. I can quickly, let's have your parting shot.
Well, my parting shot has always been that people should do the right thing. If you all try to do the right thing, I can assure you, everybody will be at peace. Everybody will be in for a better time. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Yes, and with that, we've come to a wrap on today's edition of In the Papers. We hope this review has kept you informed of what is making conversations today. And until next time, stay tuned to iPower 102.7 FM for endless list of programs coming your way shortly. I am Inioluwa Adekoya. Have a wonderful day and good morning.